the muscular giant of the savanna, a predator born to dominate. If these two forces were to engage in a life-or-death battle, would the strength of the pack prevail over claws and hunting tactics? Comment 1 if you want to witness this battle. The sun poured down on Serengeti like molten copper, overflowing the plains. Not a single breeze stirred the grass. Not a single cloud offered any mercy from the sky. Only the heat vibrated across the ground, like invisible waves. Then a roar tore through the silence. The roar echoed nearly 5 miles across the savanna, reverberating through the distant, trembling acacia trees on the horizon. The dominant male, with its dark, thick mane resembling a crown, is an unmistakable sign of its high testosterone levels and the countless battles it has survived. It has led this pride for over 2 years, but the average reign of a male lion only lasts from 2 to 3 years. Its challenger was an alliance of nomadic males. Younger, hungrier, and far more desperate, each weighed over 400 pounds. Muscles bulged beneath their dark skin from years of sun exposure. They shortened the distance under the scorching midday heat. Each step was slow and purposeful, as if counting down to the inevitable. The Serengeti stretches out under an open sky. Where everything unfolds in broad daylight, power is declared by roars that echo through the grass. Lions emerge into the open space, for their strength lies in their presence. In the Kalahari Basin, water is the ultimate power. It forces even rulers to redefine their own nature. The center of this transformation lies in the Okavango Delta, a marvel of nature. Every year, a great river begins its journey from Angola, but its destination is not the sea. Instead, it penetrated the heart of the desert, transforming nearly 6,000 square miles of dry sand into a lush, green wetland before evaporating. It is a miracle of life, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, and at the heart of that heritage site, lions have rewritten every rule that their kind once followed. Okavango lions are unlike any other lion population on the continent. Their bodies have changed. Their shoulders are wider, their chests are deeper, and their muscles are much more developed than their arid relatives. While their land-dwelling relatives kill prey with a suffocating bite to the throat, the Okavango lion targets its prey in water channels and drowns them. This strategy requires something that mere instinct cannot produce: deliberate coordination among individuals and a deep understanding of the flooded terrain. Above all, it's the courage to conquer an element that feline instincts always try to avoid. Please share this video if you want more people to see the true brutality of the wild. In this waterlogged world, the lion's greatest rival is none other than the African buffalo. A herd of Okavango can number up to 2,000 animals. It's a mobile fortress, making even the largest pride of lions hesitate before attacking. On the head of each adult male buffalo, two horns merge to form a solid bone shield called the boss. It only fully develops when the animal reaches 8 to 9 years of age. That shield can withstand a straight charge from a male lion. It is the product of millions of years of natural selection in a world full of predators. But the most fearsome weapon of the wild buffalo is not its physical strength. It is its collective intelligence. When a herd of buffalo needs to decide which direction to move, the adult females will stand up and look in the direction they want to go. The will of the majority will decide. A primitive form of democracy is operating amidst the wilderness. Wild buffaloes cross the swamp on their wide, flat hooves, like battle boots. They push through the mud without slowing down. They bathe in mud every day. The dried mud forms a natural protective layer, which both regulates their body temperature and repels parasites. And as the buffalo move, they cut through the tall, tough grasses that other herbivores wouldn't touch. They make way for impalas, zebras, and dozens of other species to graze behind them. But buffalo aren't the only force shaping the wetlands. There's another ecological engineer, heavier, more dangerous, and far more ancient. Hippopotamus, 6,600 pounds of muscle, nearly 2 inches thick skin, and jaws that can open up to 150 degrees. This is a hippopotamus, an animal that many researchers consider one of the most dangerous creatures in Africa. Their body design is a masterpiece of aquatic engineering. Their eyes, ears, and nostrils are aligned on top of their heads, like the periscope of a submarine. This allows them to observe while almost their entire body is submerged underwater. Their skin secretes a red fluid called hipposudoric acid. It's not blood. It's a natural sunscreen that blocks ultraviolet rays and kills bacteria. Every night, the hippos come ashore to graze. Then they return to the water before dawn. Their repeated journeys create deep channels that penetrate the dense vegetation. The waterways created by hippos also serve as routes that lions use to move between hunting grounds. A force powerful enough to shatter a wooden boat, and certainly powerful enough to make any intruder, even a lion, pay with their life. When two males fight for territory, they open their mouths wide, displaying their enormous teeth as a deadly warning. The battles can last for hours, and usually only end when one of the two rivals collapses. Seeing a creature as powerful as a hippopotamus still succumb to disease, don't you think nature is truly harsh? Leaving the deadly river, the savanna welcomes the survivors with another challenge. Lions cannot defeat buffaloes through direct force, as a mature buffalo can weigh many times more than a lioness, and a single goring is enough to be fatal. Therefore, the lions had to use tactics. They silently surrounded the prey, trying to separate an individual from the pride. Then, together, they clung to the prey's thick skin, turning the hunt into a battle of endurance. But buffalo are not easily subdued. When one is in danger, the entire herd can turn to its rescue, forming a massive wall of muscles that forces the lion to retreat. The battle between lions and buffaloes is therefore not just a contest between predator and prey, but a clash of tactics, courage, and the spirit of survival in the savanna. It is these perilous battles that will forge the future kings of the savanna. Even after the buffalo have defeated their challengers, the savanna still possesses an even greater strength. If this battle were to happen before your eyes, which side would you be on? Comment 2 for the lion, or comment 3 for the buffalo? Besides the buffalo, there's another giant walking across the African savanna, almost fearlessly. Rhinoceros. Its eyesight is very poor, almost useless at long distances, but nature has compensated for that shortcoming with a massive body, thick, armor-like skin, and a horn that can turn any encounter into a disaster. An adult rhinoceros can weigh up to 3,000 pounds. With that massive muscle mass, it doesn't need to hunt, it just needs to stand there and make others get out of its way. But on the savanna, even such a giant can sometimes be challenged. A pride of lions appeared in the distance. They didn't rush in, because lions understand very well attacking a fully grown rhinoceros head-on is almost suicidal. A single thrust with its sharp horns was enough to crush bones, tear apart the body, and end the hunt in the blink of an eye. Therefore, the lions must observe. They look for weakness, a lost cub, an injured individual. But the rhinoceros is not easily subdued. When it detects a strange smell or hears an unusual sound, its entire body instantly tenses. It doesn't need to see its enemy clearly. Its instinct is simple: charge straight towards danger. The ground shook under each heavy step. The lions scattered instantly, avoiding the charge that felt like a living rock hurtling towards them. In this confrontation, the lion has fangs and tactics. But rhinos possess immense weight, natural armor, and a weapon that makes every predator wary. For lions, this is no easy prey. It's a test of life and death, and on the African savanna, there are battles where even the king of predators knows when to retreat. Not all giants rely on armor or brute strength to fight. Some rise higher in a completely different way. Giraffes, with their horse-like bodies and necks that can reach 6.5 feet, are proof of that. This creature possesses a 2-4-pound heart, generating blood pressure twice that of a human. However, its neck has only 7 cervical vertebrae, the same number as a human. Each vertebra is over 10 inches long. Besides helping with foraging, that neck can also become a powerful weapon in a fighting ritual called neck fighting during mating season. The small protrusions on their heads, called ossicones, are actually bony structures covered by tough skin. When a physical confrontation occurs, the sounds produced can travel hundreds of feet. It's a movement powerful enough to break ribs, cause internal organ damage, or even knock an opponent unconscious instantly. That confrontation was like a slow but decisive dance that determined fate. A vulnerable African giraffe can break its neck and fall to the ground like a collapsing tower. However, its neck is not its only form of defense. Lions in the Etosha region, in their search for food, understand this better than anyone. And nature always knows how to reveal astonishing contrasts. But before leaving Serengeti, there's one more resident who deserves attention. Morning at Mara River. The sun is gradually rising over the horizon. The sunlight reflects on the still water. The wildebeest herd begins to gather along both banks. A few impala cautiously approach to drink water. Further on, a family of African elephants slowly crosses the grassland. The giraffe stood silently beneath the sparse acacia trees, observing the grasslands. In the middle of the river, the hippos surfaced and then sank back down to the water's surface. Along both banks, animals come one by one to the water source to drink, forage, and begin a new day. But beneath the seemingly peaceful water, an ambusher has been waiting for hours. The Nile crocodile is one of the largest reptiles in the world. An adult male can grow to over 16 feet in length, weighing over 1,500 pounds. Its thick armor protects its entire body, while its powerful tail provides strong propulsion when hunting underwater. Their eyes and nostrils, located on top of their heads, allow them to observe prey even when almost completely submerged. Female crocodiles typically lay between 40 and over 60 eggs on riverbank sandbars. After the eggs hatch, the mother crocodile gently carries each hatchling down into the water and protects them during their first few weeks of life. Throughout their lives, crocodiles share the rivers of Africa with many other species such as hippos, African elephants, plains, zebras, impalas, and countless water birds. For many of these species, the river is a place to drink water and cross during migration. But for crocodiles, it is their hunting territory. Crocodiles have a very diverse diet, ranging from fish and waterfowl to impalas, zebras, wildebeest, African buffalo, and sometimes even young hippos if the opportunity arises. What makes this predator dangerous is not its speed, but its ability to hide and wait for hours underwater. Are crocodiles your favorite animals? Like and share your opinion. And right now, herds of animals are slowly making their way to the river's edge. Plains zebras are one of the most common animals in Africa. An adult individual can weigh from 500 to over 900 pounds. Their black and white striped coat makes it difficult to distinguish the entire herd when they move together. Zebras live in herds, usually led by a dominant male. The young can stand and run after their mother shortly after birth, as this is essential for keeping up with the herd and avoiding predators. They have good eyesight, sensitive hearing, and always take turns observing their surroundings. Their primary food source is the grasses found in the savanna. Each year, hundreds of thousands of individuals participate in migrations spanning hundreds of miles in search of new sources of grass and water. To continue their journey, they had to cross large rivers. That was also the most dangerous time. Because beneath the water's surface, the Nile crocodiles had been patiently waiting. But to survive, the entire pack had no choice but to move forward. The plains zebras stopped at the water's edge. A few individuals stepped forward to observe the current. The surface of the river remained calm. But below, the Nile crocodiles were ready. Then, suddenly, the lead horse plunged into the water. The whole herd immediately crossed the river. The sound of hooves and splashing water echoed across the river. Just then, a crocodile suddenly leaped out of the water. The herd of zebras raced across the river with all their might. In just a few short seconds, the chase had entered its decisive moment. In the middle of the river, the hippos quietly surfaced to observe. The storks continued to forage along the riverbank. In the sky, African fish eagles circle in search of prey. Further on, the wildebeest herd patiently waited for the moment to cross the river. The river was the meeting point of countless animal species. And as the herds continued to move forward, new ambushes silently began. Each year, more than 1 million wildebeest, along with hundreds of thousands of plains, zebras, and many other antelope species, make the migration through the Serengeti and Masai Mara. On that journey, the rivers were always the biggest challenge. It's not just Nile crocodiles. The strong current, the jostling within the herd, and slipping, all of these can make crossing the river extremely risky. But if they don't keep moving forward, they won't be able to reach the fertile grasslands on the other side. That's the law of survival that has repeated itself on this land for thousands of years. Don't forget to like if you're a fan of wildlife videos. After leaving the crocodile-infested rivers, the journey continues back to the African savanna. The sun is setting over the savanna. The last rays of sunlight stretch across the dry grass. The hot wind began to subside, but the air still smelled heavily of dust. In the distance, a herd of wildebeest was moving slowly toward the low grass. They travel in large herds, heads bowed, ears constantly turning to listen. For wildebeest, each afternoon is a dangerous time. As the light faded, the predator began to gain the upper hand. But on the edge of the bushes, there was a nearly silent shadow. A leopard was watching. It didn't hunt with the strength of a pack like a lion. It doesn't relentlessly pursue like a wild dog. It doesn't laugh loudly in the darkness like a hyena. Leopards hunt in silence. And today, its gaze was fixed on a young wildebeest walking close to the edge of the herd. On the savanna, danger doesn't always come from a loud roar. Sometimes, it comes from a silent footsteps in the grass. Leopards are one of Africa's most agile predators. They aren't as big as lions. They aren't as fast as cheetahs, but they have a unique advantage: adaptability. Leopards can live in open forests, thickets, rocky mountains, grasslands, and even areas near human settlements. Its golden coat, covered in a speckled pattern, helps it blend into the dappled sunlight beneath the trees. When lying still in the bushes, its body almost disappears from the prey's sight. Leopards usually hunt alone. They don't rely on the strength of a pack. There's no need for prolonged chases. It relies on patience, the ability to stalk, and a surprise pounce from very close range. For leopards, every hunt is a test of distance. If it's too far, the prey will have time to detect it and escape. But if it gets close enough, it can finish everything in seconds.
Hey, this way. Automatic for you. We've got a video of him. He's heading towards Otubara now.
However, wildebeest are not easy prey. Even a young one is not entirely alone. Behind it is its mother, and the whole herd. Hundreds of eyes are always on alert for any unusual movement on the grassland. To survive against leopards, a young wildebeest cannot rely solely on its legs. It must rely on instinct, on its mother, and on the protective strength of the entire herd. Wildebeest are one of the most important herbivores in the savanna. They move in large herds, seeking tender grass and water sources seasonally. In migrations, sheer numbers are the first line of defense. Females typically give birth to one offspring per litter. Remarkably, the young can stand up and run after their mother just minutes after birth, increasing their chances of survival among numerous predators. Large numbers are the most important line of defense for the entire pack. Predators cannot attack everyone. They only focus on young, injured, or accidentally separated individuals. Adult wildebeest have sturdy bodies, curved horns, and remarkable endurance. If cornered, they are ready to retaliate in self-defense. For a leopard, an adult is a risky target. So, it quietly turned its attention to a cub that was straying from the edge of the pack. As the pack continued to move, the leopard also began to close the distance. The wildebeest herd continued to graze at a leisurely pace. A young individual gradually separated from the edge of the herd. Hidden among the bushes, the leopard lowered its body and advanced silently. The distance was steadily closing. Then, in an instant, it suddenly lunged forward. The most terrifying moment occurred when the wildebeest used all its maternal instincts to fight and protect its offspring. Realizing this, the leopard understood that the longer the chase lasted, the greater the chance of success. In the vast savanna, the race for survival could be decided in a matter of fleeting seconds.
Wow!
The plains zebras quickly left the area. The ostriches strode toward the open grassland. In the sky, vultures began circling. Further on, the spotted hyenas noticed the commotion. On the savanna, every hunt quickly attracts opportunists. However, the struggle for survival doesn't end there.